level of the day, which is another 90-minute level. 161 players remaining out of 529. One of those players is Maria Ho. You've just come for the main event here, right?
Yeah, I came like a few days before the main event started. I played the little drop prelim and then jumped into the main. So,
And tell us how it's going so far into day 2.
you know, I had a good stack coming into today, but it's just been one of those rough roller coastery type of days, and so I'm a little bit short now, but hopefully feature table run good coming my way.
Well, I'm hoping to give that to you as well. You've been playing on this table already today, so you know the players a little bit. I imagine you know Ryan as well quite well.
Yeah, I've played with Ryan a few times. Obviously, he's tough, and there's a few really good players at the table. So, you know, I'm picking good spots, and I'm going to need a little help from the cards at this point. So,
And at a feature table, obviously, the players, the viewers at home can see your cards. Does that make you play any differently at all?
I'm sure the first few times that I played at a feature table, I definitely thought about the fact that everyone could see my whole cards, but now I just need to play my game, and, you know, people might judge you for what you do at the poker table, but you have to be comfortable with the decisions you make at the end of the day. So,
Okay. Well, we hope that run good comes your way. Good luck and head to your seat, Maria Ho. She's going to the action here at the feature table. So enjoy it. This is the last level of the day.
Okay, good luck, guys.
One more, please.
He wants to sit on your lap.
Huh?
It's
just a nice,
And 400, please.
nice
One more.
Hello and welcome back to the 2017 World Series of Poker Europe. David Tuckman joined by the one and only Brent Harrington.
Like a bigger table.
Brent is host of the Poker
like
News
bigger. That's a real
podcast,
table.
and for a lot of you on Twitch who are very familiar with Jason Somerville and Run It Up, he most recently dominated, crushed, annihilated the competition in Reno for Run It Up.
It was actually 2 run-ups ago. I bricked pretty hard in the previous, but it was not too long ago. I go every time. It's very fun.
I'm always traveling in the fall, so I don't get a chance to go.
Oh yeah. Well, there's one in the fall and one right before the series, like April, May, usually.
5 plus.
I think we could all be full.
One in the fall and one when?
Like April-ish. Yeah. They had a pretty big one right
That's
before
888 Live Barcelona time, my man.
Yeah, that's true. 888's
think
crushing
they want
it,
his
doing
booking?
stuff all over,
Yeah, it is what it is.
keeping you busy.
I think Maria Ho just moved all in. We got a new feature table for you. Maria Ho on just about 31,000 chips.
What is
So,
that, like 12
yeah,
bigs or
it's like
something?
13 bigs. Moves all in from the cutoff. I am
We'll see what you show.
very lucky to be able to call Maria Ho my friend. I have a lot of respect
I mean,
for her
I
game.
could do that, but I mean, I could mess up this stack
Yeah,
size.
Maria
but I
is-
feel
is
pretty
one of the nicer
comfortable
people.
that one's going to be fine.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. Normally, when I do like the Stones live thing, they don't have each of the players' mic, so this is a new experience.
Yeah, we're fancy here, man.
Yeah, pretty big time.
We are fancy.
How many chips does Ryan have? Do we know that?
We'll get it all up there in a second. We'll get all the chips up for you. I can let you guys already know. Black chips are 100. Orange chips are... Pink chips are 500. Orange chips are 1,000. Yellow chips are 5K. Ryan Reese, you can see him on the left side of your screen. Earlier on today, and I know at the end of day 1, he had a lot of chips. Don't know currently what he has, but we'll get that for you in a second. You can see Maria has a lot of actual chips, but unfortunately for her, not a lot of the yellow ones, which are the ones we want.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, the number of actual physical chips. Maybe that makes you feel better emotionally, because you have a bunch of chips in front of you. Oh, it looks like Ryan's got somewhere around like 150, maybe? I can't really see his hands blocking it, but...
Yeah, they're really good about getting...
Oh, this should be fun.
Yeah, they're really good about getting the chips up really quick. So we'll get Ryan Reese's stack up for you in just a second. Blind on blind action. 2 players with absolutely nothing right now. And it goes check, check. I'm sorry, Nash has got a pair of 8s. I'm blind.
He limped the small blind, so...
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty reasonable.
That's what happens when I'm pouring you water and not paying attention. Yeah, Nash
This
has
is
got,
you missed your calling as a waiter, I guess.
I didn't miss that calling. I've waited tables before.
Oh, yeah.
I've done it.
Me too. I feel like there's like this might go check or bet fold. There's like almost
2 bet,
nothing.
3.5.
I think Ryan was just waiting for him to bet so he could fold.
So you can see Reese has got, I'm going to say about 130,000-ish. Give
Yeah.
or take a couple. Somewhere in that neighborhood. So he's healthy. Again, the player started with 50,000 chips. 90-minute levels, guys. We go on a break after every level. 1.1 million euros up top. 80 players will cash. Min cash is 15,000, a little bit over 15,000 euros. Once again, Brent Harrington, David Tuckman in the booth for you. Thank you so much for joining us.
What do you think about this screen? This screen is like amazing.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want to give our crew, the World Series of Poker and Kings Casino, props because they did a fantastic job.
Yeah. It looks great. That screen is amazing. I wonder if they put football up there ever.
When I was here in February, they did use the big screens and put on the football game. Last night, it was like they had the Red Zone channel on a couple of small TVs. I don't think American football is real big out here.
Yeah. It's at a good time, though. It's like 6 p.m. in the evening. It's like every game is Sunday Night Football.
Right.
And 1 raise, 5.3. 2 pass.
Surin looks like he's got a bunch of chips raising on the cutoff, ace-6 offsuit. This is very easy defend. I got to imagine Jack 10 offsuit is. What is that? Oh, is that France versus Czech Republic? Yeah, the flags. I think I'm just thinking out loud. All right, Zom calls in the big blind. Oh. Not too shabby when you raise a 6 up in the cutoff and flop 2 pair.
And now it's the question of can you get any value from it? In all likelihood, the answer would be no. Azam, in the red hoodie we're looking at, he checks. And you'd imagine will check fold. We'll see. See the yellow border around the player's name? That indicates it's their turn to act. And I do promise, guys, if there's any table talk, we will lay out so you guys can hear the table.
Some lights. They're hot.
How's your trip going?
That's great.
Yeah?
I enjoy this place. It's
They've done a great job. I mean,
Yeah.
the expansion.
Well, this is my first time here, but I
Then
think,
you don't even know what to compare
so
it to. But it was nice before, and now it's become. It went from what was basically a casino to becoming more of a resort casino.
Yeah.
And I only imagine that's
Probably
they're gonna-
keep going.
They're going to even keep going with that, which is great.
I met at least one guy who came here with a bunch of friends for his bachelor party. Not a poker player, just like came to the casino for fun. They drove like 2 hours from somewhere in Germany. Not too bad.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, if you've got some time before and after, when I was living in London and I would travel around and do these stops, what I do like to normally do is add a couple of days onto the back end of a trip and explore the area. And I normally would do that now, but I've got a 4-month-old at home, so I'm going to go home. But Prague, Prague is about an hour away. Munich, just a little bit longer than that. And then apparently a bunch of like cool spa towns, also within like 25, 30 minutes.
Spa Town sounds pretty appealing.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool.
I
right?
guess that my mind is sort of wandering, like, what exactly is a spa town?
Well, you get like, natural hot springs.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
1 raise, 5.2.
It worked with ace-6 offsuit. I mean, hey, ace-10 is even better. Nash in the cutoff. He's a gentleman we're looking at right now in the center of your screen, has ace-jack offsuit. Once again, I'm very proud of the fact that the World Series of Poker Europe and the players, of course, were able to raise $1.2 million for the One Drop Foundation. If you're wondering, if you don't know anything about it, I encourage you to go over to the website, check out onedrop.org, do some research. It really is a fantastic cause.
14.5.
I think, we all take for granted the fact that you can just turn your faucet on and get clean drinking water.
Yeah.
And for millions around the world, that's not a reality.
The One Drop does some pretty amazing stuff.
Get a 3-bet here to 13-5. Pocket threes, just the
Okay.
playability of that hand.
That'd be
is
pretty
so
ambitious
difficult.
play there. I think about 2 years ago, I did something similar with pocket sixes. And just like cold 4-bet pocket sixes. And I told my friends about it, and they're like, what are you doing? Just lighting money on fire. Stern's got to be up there with like one of the chip leaders. If not the chip leader. This should be...
You want to make me look stupid on TV?
Yeah, Certain's got a top 15 stack right now, just under 300,000. I mean, I probably prefer the 4-bet with than calling with threes.
Oh,
I mean,
no, for sure, right,
I mean,
yeah.
if I've got to
Flatting,
choose.
yeah, because there's still action behind. So, yeah,
said it
flatting
might.
with threes there is probably the worst thing you can do. And then,
I mean, depending on stacks. I mean, if you're really deep, it's fine. You know, and I play a lot of cash games, but you know, even then, you're not closing the action. It can be very, very difficult
that's
to play
the
the
worst.
hands post flop.
That's
and you always have that like a crushing thing where you call and then someone raises again, and then you're just like, okay, so I just wasted.
Right, that was fun.
The best hand you fold. That's right.
a little better. I don't fold. That's what I mean.
There's a look at Maria Ho in seat number 6. Very short stacked.
Rocking the Windstar patch. Have you ever been there?
I haven't.
Of all the hands
It's,
you
I mean,
fold.
it's another similar kind of thing.
No,
the
I
place
know.
is great, but it's kind of in the middle of
I think
a
Middle of
lot-
nowhere,
yeah,
right?
middle of nowhere.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been to you know, countless casinos, obviously, and poker rooms around the world, but I've never been to Windstar. I've been to like the sister one, Choctaw, around the corner,
Oh, okay.
but never. One of these days, I've got to get there. It's just
3 raise, 5.5.
had I started traveling the poker scene
4 pass.
a few years earlier,
Pass.
You probably would.
and I was playing more than commentating, yeah, I'd probably see more of these places. Reese raising in the cutoff. Maria's got king 5. She loves defending her big blinds. But she doesn't have a lot of chips, and she's going to defend anyway.
It's sort of like the new wave, right? Like defending your big line pretty wide. It's maybe not standard, but a lot of people are doing that kind of stuff. I think if Reese bets here, yeah, it ends the hand.
3 bet. 4,000.
Although,
I mean, I imagine that Reese is occasionally checking this back. You know, I mean, you want to be able to check back some of your top pairs, and ace-7 seems like one you might. I mean, if he had ace-7 with like the 7 of clubs, maybe he checks it back. I don't know. But against a short stack, I guess his thought process is, you know, you do it. And Maria calls.
it's a lot of turn cards she could like.
Yeah, I mean, I love Maria's game. There are a lot of turn cards she likes. I just don't know if she has the chips to kind of play
Right,
with here.
yeah. Fair enough. They're similar stacks. Or she, wow, yeah, she only has like
You know what I mean? I just
30,000, little bit less.
She's got, yeah, I mean, she has like 13 big blinds.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes check, check on the turn, and the perfect card comes off. So, I mean, is she going to rep it now?
She has like a pot size shove, or like a little bit more than a pot size shove.
Yeah, she does. She has got about a pot size shove. Give or take a couple. I mean, it's a pretty dry board.
She's thinking.
I
I,
don't
think
think
she's
she-
thinking about it a little. At
Well,
least
I mean, if you're
the
going
thought
to-
definitely creeped into her
I
head.
mean, my thought is if you're going to flat with king high.
All in.
Yeah, and there it is.
Oh! I like
There
it.
it is. She's gonna rep it. She's got the king of clubs. And this is one of those things. I mean, if you're gonna play king 5 offsuit out of position, and you're gonna float from out of position with king 5 on this flop, you gotta have a plan.
Yeah.
And you give her credit. Let's hear.
26.2. 23,200.
Pot is 49-6. It's 26 to call.
I just keep feeling like the moment I say anything, Ryan's going to say something.
What if I think you have like king 10 or something? Jack 10. Can't beat that.
I mean, Ryan knows she doesn't have she doesn't have a big ace here, almost ever, because she would have 3-bet jammed with her stack. So, the hands she could have, she could have like some sort of weird 2-pair hand.
She could have like
or
a queen
clubs.
9, a queen 9 type hand, maybe.
Oh, the bluff.
That's what I'm saying, some weird
Yeah.
2-pair type hand. Even, honestly, even
But even like ace 8 beats him. But I guess she might not rip ace.
I don't
8.
think she's ripping ace. I think
Yeah,
she's,
so
when she rips during the river, she's
Oh,
very
right, shoving.
polarized.
Yeah.
She's got like 2-pair plus or nothing. And what a great bluff. She pulls it off.
Ryan's probably getting the text.
That definitely could be one of the hands, but I did not have king 10. I'll tell you that much.
Somebody in the chat says replace her with Tonka. That's not how poker tournaments work. You can't just move people to the table. This is the table that was drawn.
Pass. One pass. Two pass. Three pass.
If you guys have any questions, you can always tweet us at Brent Harrington or at Tuck on Sports. Zom's going to open this one with 3s. Now, you mentioned, the new thing, people defending their big blind pretty wide. And that's kind of dictated by math. You're just getting too good a price, generally speaking, and that's why the pros do it. Now, I think amateurs make the mistake of following the pro without probably knowing why. They end up calling into the big blind, and then they end up making more mistakes post-flop. And that's part of it. I mean, the pros, like Maria Ho there, she calls with king 5 offsuit. She's getting a good price. And then she figures out a way to manipulate the pot and win it without actually making the best hand.
Yeah.
I think a lot of inexperienced players make the mistake of defending their big blind light because they see pros do it. And then it's one of those mistakes beget mistakes. Before you know it, they've gone from losing 2 big blinds to losing 11.
Yeah, it's like a rabbit hole you don't want to go down.
Yeah, it's just... I mean, I try to tell people, I go, if you want to do something, you want to follow the pros, what I would tell you to do is, watch the pros, then try to figure out why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then if that works for your game and your skill set, hey, incorporate it into it somehow.
Yeah, it worked out too because I think one of the most common actions on the turn when you get 2 players like Reese and Ho is like check 90% of the time.
And by the way, he even checks back the ace.
Right. I just think he checks 100% of his range there, or close to. I just after watching players play the 1-drop and everything, there's
I don't know if he's. I mean,
check is such a common action on the turn.
It is. I mean, I think he's checking. I don't think he's checking back everything. I mean, to be honest, I'd love to ask Ryan about that hand because I think I probably. I mean, if he's going to bet so small on the flop, I'd almost rather check back the flop and bet turn.
Yeah.
Against Maria, but
I'm going to defer to you on this one.
I don't know. I mean, just from watching, I mean, a lot of ways to skin a cat, I mean, we've seen different players and different styles.
But one thing you mentioned I think is really important is that the good players are winning hands that maybe they weren't going to win, if that makes sense. You can't win a tournament if you only win hands with aces and kings.
Of course. I mean, hey, it's like I remember Poker Productions a couple of years ago instituted something on the World Series of Poker main event coverage for ESPN, which is earn pots, quote unquote earn pots. And we saw this yesterday, and I know Martin Cabrera is not everybody's favorite player, but right around the bubble of the one drop, this was 2 days ago, sorry, Cabrera just punished Choinovsky. Punished him. There were two situations where he got Choinovsky to fold the best hand with a huge river bet. And I said, hey, say what you will about this guy, but he's playing some good poker right now. I'm not going to come out and say he's the best player out there. He wasn't. I don't think that. But he made some really nice plays, and he earned that. And that was a spot in Maria where I think both of us, calling King 5 offsuit out of the big blind, I have no problem with that. Floating on that board, I think is pretty mandatory when you have a lot of chips. But with her stack, I think both of us were like, ugh. But she had a plan. And it obviously worked out for her. Reese is going to raise here under the gun +2 with ace-9.
I was going to say, Azam has threes again.
Yeah, I mean, Azam's he's just holding the threes every time. That hand was interesting as well. I mean, he raises with threes in late position, which is totally fine. On a Jack-Jack 4 board, I mean, you got to bet that.
Yeah.
You're likely still the best hand. And you don't want to check call, and I just bet it and take it down.
It's definitely not a bad board for any pocket pair.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to like many flops when you have threes. That's the problem with them.
Yeah.
That's one of the few flops where you're like, I can take it down. I mean, I'm not often a huge fan of betting for protection. But I think occasionally you've got to do it, and I think threes are like that hand to do it with. I mean, on that board. I mean, it was funny. Stewart only bet like 4,000 into 24 though, which was that was the amazing thing. He bet 4 into almost 21,000, and that got done.
Yeah, maybe Azam was thinking like, well, what do I do if I if I call and then check the turn and he bets again?
But if I'm getting that good a price, I mean, man,
which is all the more reason why you should bet, right?
Well, I mean,
so
or just call. I mean, you're getting 6-1.
Yeah, that's true. Super
It's just
cheap.
too small a bet. You're giving your opponent too good a price to bluff. I mean, it's just obviously a very exploitable play.
I feel like there's a lot of times where players will bet like small bet. I mean, I'm going to assume that the players at this point in the main event are probably doing it on purpose. But sometimes I think people just, for lack of a better idea, right? They're just like, I'm going to bet, but I don't want to bet too much because my hand. It's almost like I'm just throwing it out there for fun, you know.
No, I think that's 100% true. I think if you're a good player, part of maneuvering the minefield of these tournaments, and if you're playing cash games as well, is figuring out why your opponent's betting, and then also, does my opponent know why he's betting or she's betting? Because sometimes they don't, like you said.
Sometimes you give them credit for a move that maybe they're just is like not there.
Constantinus. I got to figure out what this guy's first name is.
Constantinitis. Right?
Constantinitis. I like that. Constantinitis. He opens the button with Queen 9. Surin defends the big blind with 10-7. Both seem reasonable.
Yeah, it seems pretty standard.
So you're here in Rosvadov wearing your reporter hat,
yeah,
your podcast host hat.
Yes.
When you watch this, though, and you're around it, how much do you want to play?
A little. I played some PLO on one of my days off while I was here. It's weird, though. I don't know. I don't really get the bug to play.
Really?
Hold'em is probably my least favorite of the variants of poker. So I think that probably helps. When I watch people play PLO, sometimes I'm like, oh, this would be fun. I'd really like to do this.
Whereabouts? Okay. Is that by Dublin?
Did we just become German? Okay. Oh, I like this. We're all over the world with commentary in several different languages.
Last year? 2 years ago? 2 years ago. For the EPT. It was fun. Were you at that?
Yeah.
Reese final tabled the 25K. I think he finished fourth. The like 25K high roller. Now, like I'm questioning that, but I'm pretty sure he finished fourth in the 25K high roller they had a couple days before the 100K one drop.
Reese is a beast.
Yeah.
Maria's gonna raise. Now hijack. Now she's got some chips. She's like, let's play some poker.
Yeah.
Yummy, yummy.
Thank you, Ryan Reese.
Huh?
Thank you. Well, she won that pot from
Yeah.
Ryan, so she's like, thanks for
Well, now
some of
she's got
those
like
chips.
now she's got like 24 big blinds. 25 big blinds. And I think that's sometimes you see that a player just gets chips, and then wants to use them.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I imagine Maria also is thinking like, I can't, you can't just wait for like a nice 3-bet shove hand kind of thing, or.
She's been here before. She's playing her her poker. She flops. Not a terrible flop for her. She's got a gutter to go along with backdoor diamonds. Nash with a pair of sixes and backdoor clubs. Imagine this is going to go check, bet, call.
4,600.
She bets 4,600 into a pot of about 14.6. Nash calls. An 8 would be a doozy. Instead, it's a 6, and that should slow her down. She's just got to hate that card. I'd be shocked if she bet this right now. I mean, there are good cards. There are good turn cards for her. That's not one of them.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the worst turn cards for her.
I imagine too, because like often somebody might check raise you with top pair, or like they're never. I mean, I don't know. I've seen some people check raise there with like ace 10, king 10.
Yeah, it just.
I mean, I don't
just
know.
doesn't make. I mean, her bet on the turn just wouldn't make a lot of sense. I think, in my opinion, it was just, she knows her opponent. Her opponent has a huge rage advantage on the turn because her opponent's going to have a lot of sixes, and I mean, even if she had aces or kings, I think she's checking the turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the only hand she's betting on the turn are like maybe she's betting pocket tens, or pocket deuces, or a 6 herself.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Remember, check is like a pretty standard turn action.
Yeah, and she's going to bet this now. She's going to try to rep the king. She doesn't think her opponent would check the 6 a third time. Remember, he checked the flop, he checked the turn, he checked the river, which is pretty sneaky, and I like it because he knows that maybe my opponent doesn't have anything, and she can rep the ace or a king if it comes off, and a king comes off, and I imagine he's going to check raise here. It looks like that. Right around now, Maria hates life.
26,500.
Yeah.
She was like, I was hoping for a fold. Really didn't want. I didn't want to call or a raise. I have 9 high.
It's that moment where you're just like, if only I had checked back. Although you don't want to give up though.
Well, she's got one of the worst hands. She's got 9 high. I don't mind the bet. I mean, I don't want to be results oriented.
It's difficult.
I think betting there and trying to put some pressure on like a deuce is fine.
Yeah. I'm always going to defer to the people at the table. So I
Right,
was like,
yeah.
she obviously is better than me. So
I mean, he could even have floated the flop with an ace high
Show
type
deuce.
hand.
somebody, I don't know the voices just yet, asked him to show the deuce, and he kind of smiled.
I had the privilege of playing with Maria Ho in the World Series of Poker main event a couple of years ago.
Trying to get people to show Bluff
She actually
here.
eliminated me on day 4. And I didn't think she bluffed this much. Bluffing machine.
There is some insight here.
She bluffs every hand.
I've only ever seen her play where the cards are face down while I'm doing live reporting. So here I am
Been
getting.
here for like 6 hands. She's bluffed twice already.
About that.
It's like a 30-minute delay, right? So probably more than, like a little more than 10 minutes.
Oh, I think maybe they're talking about when Ryan's going to
you
get to
already
see
have
the.
an insider who will tell you, right?
I have somebody who will tell me yes.
Can he send you all the hands and you just...
That's the only one I asked about so far.
Ah, that's the only one.
Just one.
No, that's your insider. Insider.
No,
Real
no.
time.
I asked him for a waitress if he sees one. I just want a beer.
You have a lot of
I didn't even
assistants.
see her. I blacked out. I blacked out.
Maria, once again, very short stacked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a long tournament.
It is. I mean, that's the hope. It's not a long tournament for everybody. For some people, the
Oh,
tournament.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, whoever wins this tournament, and whoever makes the final table, it's a long tournament. I mean, the old saying, you can't win it today. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, just keep going. I mean, it's a little bit faster, I guess, than the Vegas main because it's 90-minute levels instead of 2 hours, but still.
Yeah, and we're getting through. I mean, our field is 529 instead of 7,700.
Yeah,
But still, though, it's a great structure, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. This is, I mean, I don't know that I'll ever play a 10K no limit hold'em tournament in my life, but obviously it would be pretty unique to play this kind of tournament.
you should play the World Series of Poker main event. I mean, I tell everybody, as a poker fan, just play it. It's such a good tournament. It's
You want
such an
one too?
amazing
Yeah.
tournament.
Anyone else want one?
I'll have one too.
4?
Brent Harrington, David Tuckman here for the
5 years.
2017 World Series of Poker Europe. This is the main event. That's right, 10,350 euros was the cost to get in. 529 players decided to do just that. We are down to about 150-ish. Queen high flop. Surin, our chip leader at this table, has decided to raise in the cutoff with 10s, which seems perfectly reasonable. Azam defended the big blind with ace-jack, also reasonable. And you kind of expect us to go check, bet, call, especially with that sizing. Azam's just getting too good a price. He's got the ace of hearts. He might have the best hand.
And he's got some chips to play with. I think he's got, what is that, like 80,000?
We saw him fold threes to a really small bet before. This is just such a tiny bet. I mean, it's not that. It's 4 into 14, so. But C-bet sizing is so small these days. It's like, cool, see, okay, now, great. I mean, he might have only thought he had 3 outs, but a lot of times it's going to go check, check, no matter what, even if you just call the first straight, and you get to see this turn and the river for that same price.
Right. Which defends just calling in that spot so often because you get to see the river for free.
There's just so many good cards for Azam. I mean, he could catch a straight draw, he could hit a pair, he can catch a heart. At this point, he probably thinks he has the best hand.
It'll be interesting to see what happens if Surin bets, like, I don't know, 15,000 or something.
Yeah, and
check
Azam was value betting that. Absolutely, that was a value bet on the river. He turned it over like he thought he had the best hand. Maybe a little thin, trying to get a call from, I guess, a 7.
Did he check? I
You
thought he
folded a
checked and
queen there,
Surin bet.
Ryan?
Yeah, he did. He went check,
Against
check on the
me?
turn.
Uh-huh.
And then he went
Folded a
check,
queen?
bet, call.
Okay, yeah, he snapped.
I did not.
We're going to find out in like 7.5 minutes.
You can just tell me, I'll tell you.
We'll just make your friend work for it, though.
Okay.
You need to make sure your friend's paying attention. How do you know that
It's
they're
Kevin
like
McPhee, so I don't know.
exactly? That's what I'm
I may
saying.
not
It's
know.
like
I might have to text my dad, my mom, or something.
Kevin McPhee might not be on it. He
Yeah,
might
it's
like.
true.
He's playing, isn't he?
He is playing, yeah.
Yeah, he
dropping.
might be busy.
He was multitasking though.
I love going for thin value bets. I'm wondering if betting a 10 there with 10s were just a little bit too thin. I mean,
If
I
you
guess if you
bluff
can
me,
get
don't
called
tell me.
occasionally by 7,
I don't want to go on monkey till
then it's fine.
Right, and this
Nobody
table
wants to be bluffed
has
on
maybe
two.
been
Yeah,
together all
no,
day,
it's
so
not
he
fun.
probably maybe
Yeah, they
he's
know
got a
each
little
other
bit
better than
more
I would
about
know.
Azam. Plus Azam, if I was guessing, I would think maybe he's kind of tight. I don't know.
So DK, all in for 37,800.
I'll tell you, I would have played the hand the same exact way, whether we're on a TV table or not on a TV table. So take that for what it's worth.
I would have played mine the same way too.
You would have? Okay, good. See? Then I think we both did what we're supposed to do.
You guys are used to TV.
We're seasoned vets.
Yeah.
McPhee won this event 2 years ago, right?
Oh wow, Kevin said he's not watching anymore. Oh no.
So what was it? I don't think she
If you
bluffed.
bluffed me, I'll know. Someone will
Yeah,
tweet
I would say I'm like
saying-
90% sure he won this event 2 years
talking
ago.
about the bluff. So if I don't get a mention, I'm gonna think it's a good fold.
I think you made a good fold.
That seems fair.
I mean, Maria's a good player. She's going to have some 2 pairs occasionally. She's going to have some flushes occasionally. She's going to have some bluffs occasionally. Race picks up jacks in the cutoff. This again, by the way, this is once again Maria's big blind, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Zam on the button with ace-8. Ace-8 off suit. That's muck-worthy. And it does go in the muck. Ooh, Stewart with ace-king. Stewart's got some chips, though. Those yellow chips are 5K each, so he's got over 100,000. Don't know what Maria has just yet. Be a really good time to pick up aces or kings.
Yeah.
Be a really, really good time to pick up that.
It's one of those fun things, too, when most people don't look at their cards till it's their turn. So you're just like hoping. You look down at something.
Yeah, she had already looked, and she insta-mucks. And let's see, let's listen to him. Stewart has 95-3, which is 40 big blinds. Reese has him covered. He has 51 big blinds. We could get it all in. Ryan Reese, of course, 4 years ago to this day, won the World Series of Poker main event. Reese all in, snap call, ace, king, jacks. I gotta tell you, when your opponent snap calls you, you're really happy to see ace, king.
Yeah, anytime you get snap called and you're
Right,
not,
that's what I mean.
you're not
you know he's
crushed,
got
you love
something,
it.
he's got a hand. This is a 234,000 chip pot. I mean, we're talking about 100 big blinds in the middle. It is Stewart's tournament life on the line. But if Reese were to lose this, he would be in really bad shape. Oh, and we got a good sweat here. King high flop, but it's all diamonds. Reese can catch a jack or a diamond. 7 of clubs in the turn. Here's the river. The 10. And a big double up.
I didn't want to have to do that this early.
Big double up for Stewart.
Yeah, that was never really going to go any differently. So it's
Say that
unfortunate. I don't think that was ever really going to go any differently, right? Like, I mean, other than the flop board. You got to try to get some chips. Unfortunate for Reese, but I think that puts. Now I'm forgetting his name. But that puts him somewhere in the realm of like Surin's stack, right? Like 200 or so.
Yeah, Stewart's got some chips there. And Reese does not. Reese down the 6 big blind. I think he tweeted today that today was going to be a good day. So it can still happen. This is the last level. You know, the problem is it's getting close to midnight. Maybe that's the problem.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Almost tomorrow. He did come into the day with one of the bigger stacks. Bagged top 3 stack, I think, day 1A. But, yeah. Unfortunate to hit a king on the flop, and then get the sweat and not get there.
I think Maria Ho's all in.
What was your
Yeah, she
three-bet?
shoved from the small blind.
And he got called, right?
Yeah.
Konstantinidis?
I
Konstantinidis.
Constant. I mean, I'm not sure, but
Can we just call him
just
Constant?
don't want to
Yep.
ask. It's just
King Jack versus 8 deuce. Well, she's got live cards. Oh.
needs a lot of help.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh,
there's a glimmer. An 8 or a deuce.
wow.
Oh!
got it the hard way.
She was so confident. Look at her. She knew it was coming the whole time.
Yeah, she didn't even do the get up, thanks for playing,
No, she was
grab the
like-
jacket.
She was like, whatever. I got this.
It was like a 10 big shove from the small blind. Was that? you
Yeah, I
said
mean,
like
I think
23?
she probably thought, her opponent might be folding too often. And figured the suited 8 deuce she could show a profit on it. Or she just knew she was going to flop 2 pair. I mean,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
turn a pair and river 2 pair, I should say.
It was destined.
Yeah. So our 2 stars of this table are our 2 short stacks. Maria on 21 big blinds, Ryan Reese on just 6 big blinds. And those are situations that just have to kind of haunt you because it's a flip. He's a slight favorite against ace king, obviously, with 2 jacks. And if he wins that hand, he's at 103 big blinds. He's just, he's cruising.
Yeah.
Poker can be such a cruel game.
I think the second part is the important part. You're like, oh, I lose all these hands, but then you think, wow, if I had won that hand, I'd be sitting pretty in a good spot on day 2, like about to bag, top 20-ish stack or somewhere in that realm.
I mean, I certainly think 3-betting and 4-betting and calling it off is reasonable, though. With 40 big blinds effective, it's just like you heard Ryan say it. I kind of didn't want to do this now.
Yeah.
You know it's inevitable at some point in a poker tournament. You just don't want it now. And I think Maria might end up going with this one too. We'll see. This is a cutoff open from a guy who just got a ton of chips, and he's German.
All in.
Yeah, and she moves all in. I like this a lot. You start factoring all that in, that the steward just got a lot of chips. He's got some shorties behind him. And her shove is 22 big blinds. And he's going to fold. Nice play from Maria Ho.
Yeah, you're not folding 3s there, but you're also not going crazy when.
Say it again?
I said you're not folding 3s there when you're him and you got 200K with 2 shorties in the blinds.
Well, yeah, and Maria Ho on the button doesn't have a ton of chips. I mean, I just think he's going to be opening very wide in the cutoff, which makes Maria's shove even better, I think.
Yeah, now she's, what is it, 40, like somewhere in the mid-60s, maybe 70K.
Appreciate you coming in on your day off.
Yeah.
By the way, this is Brent's one day off. He was in his hotel, just chilling, when I sent him a message and said, come on down. And we got out of his hotel, took the shuttle here. You're a trooper, man.
The beautiful America Hotel in Bor, Czech Republic.
There you go. Azam with Queen Jack suited under gun +2. That's a pretty hand. Not for him, though. That is not a pretty hand for him. He doesn't like that at all.
You could make the argument maybe he's in an early position and he doesn't really want to like get himself into trouble.
Or he just knew that Constant had 2 red jacks.
That's probably it.
I mean, if we were really close to the money, I could get behind it a little bit more. I mean, if you're like, we're 10 away from the money and he thinks he can cash, he doesn't want to get involved. There's a big stack behind him. He's 3-betting a ton.
Yeah. Well, that's where the
he's under
depth.
gun +2, and he's not that short. I think that's pretty much just a race.
Yeah. Well, that's where the depth of the main, right? Like in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh, he's short, but I guess he's not really short. He's got like 100K. He's sitting there. He has some room to play some hands, and so Queen Jack suited for sure would be.
Yeah, he's got about 100K, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I
he's
keep
got,
thinking he's short, but that's I haven't adjusted my mind to where the blinds are. It seems
I mean,
late in the tournament, but this is the
Queen
beauty
Jack
of the
suited
main.
is a really good hand.
Yeah, I take it back. Should open it.
I would imagine you'd be. There are close spots. I don't think that was close. I don't know. You guys can let me know at home. I think that was a little bit on the tight side.
Yeah, I take it back. You got to open hands like that. He has like 120, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's just.
It's a lot of blinds.
And that's a really good hand. I mean, I'll just put it out there. I will take Azam's discards going forward.
Reese shoves with King Jack.
Ryan effectively all in here. It's an under the gun shove.
I guess he didn't shove, or maybe he did.
No,
and
he
hasn't
left
had a
like
shove.
1 chip behind. I've noticed some pros doing that. I don't. Surin in the small blind with ace jack. This is only a 7 big blind. I'm sorry, this is about a 6 big blind is what Reese has. He's put 5 of them in there. Surin with 266,000 chips behind, deciding what he wants to do with ace jack offsuit. If Surin comes along for the ride, Reese is in a heap of trouble.
Yeah.
As we can see, one of the kings are dead, and Surin has him dominated.
There's a chance he might get saved by the Stewart call.
Yeah.
And that's otherwise the money would already be in.
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. Looks like he's going to 3-bet this stuff. Looks like he is going to 3-bet and try to get everybody else to fold. Or not.
No, just call.
Kind of a little chip dance.
Once.
He
Nash
bluffed
gets out of the way.
us.
You need 200 more.
Reese with not much equity, as you can see. Well, he's not
Yeah,
folding that
he's
flop.
never folded.
No, that's about as good. Honestly, with a king jack flop, with king jack on against these two opponents, that's about as good as it's going to get for him. And Reese is all in for 1,700. Stewart can call. Stewart can raise. He calls. And I imagine Surin will call as well, as he's got a gutter.
Yeah, only 1,700. I mean,
Price
never
is just-
folding ever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to come up with a hand that you would fold in this spot for 1,700 into 45,000.
Maybe 7-4, maybe not even 7-4.
Oh, 7-4. I got runner. Ace Jack, by the way, is still good. Cern checks. The only thing that can save Reese here is if Stewart actually were to bet this.
Oh,
If
wow.
he bets his draw, they'll chop it up.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
He might get saved. He might actually get saved by Stewart.
Nope, Stewart checks it back.
Ooh.
They don't get there, and let's see, still, by the way, Stewart can still bluff at it. And there's value in that. I mean, if you can get an ace high to fold, remember Cern called out of the small blind, not big blind. He's going to have a little stronger range. If you can get an ace high to fold, or, you know, pocket sevens.
I'm not going to win this one.
Oh, he checked.
And Reese says, I'm not going to win this one. He knows.
Oh, so close.
4 years ago, he won a main event. But
Game, Ryan.
today, the dream ends. I mean, the pot was 46-7, right?
Done.
I thought I would
nice
lose.
If a bet on the river by Stewart can get
Why
your
didn't
other
you
two,
check?
your
He
other
could
guy
have
all
saved.
in, if you can get
Go
the big
check all
stack
around.
to
No
fold,
need to.
Maybe I raise you out.
you're unlikely to be beating Reese, but maybe.
Yeah. It would have been interesting to see. Stewart had a chance to save him. But, I mean, in the sense, he also knows he's up against the big stack. The one guy at the table that has him covered, he's probably thinking he doesn't really want to get into trouble. I mean,
Yeah.
he may be
I don't know if it
thinking
was that as much as I think he probably just thought that he couldn't beat Reese anyway. There was no dry. It was a dry side pot.
Yeah.
Reese was all in, and frankly, there's no value in bluffing if you can't beat the all-in guy.
Right.
So
And
I
there's
thi-
a lot
I
of
think he probably assumed that Reese had at least ace high.
yeah, there's a lot of value too to not having Ryan Reese at your table, a good player. I mean, yeah, maybe you're not but, like you're thinking like you want Reese to bust.
Yeah,
if
you
you're
want- you
if
want
you're
everybody
him.
to bust,
Yeah,
so.
so
I mean, Reese put his last 6 big blinds in with under the gun. So you'd assume he probably saw an ace or maybe he's got a pair. You've got king high, you can't beat it. I assume that's why he checked it back.
149 players left. Not too shabby.
Ooh. Under the gun +1. Maria picks up very, very pretty hand. She's like, please, somebody have ace queen and 3-bet me.
Or ace-8 suited.
That's fine too.
Yeah, she'll take it.
I don't know if anybody travels more for poker than Maria Ho.
Internationally, yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's what I
right.
mean.
I was
I
gonna say Kessler travels a lot, but I seem to see him everywhere.
I don't think he's a real person.
He's just
He's
like
by
he's
the way-
everybody's imaginary friend.
By the way, Alan Kessler has been eliminated from the main event. I just saw him playing some mixed games. Ooh. Azam's just not that aggressive a player. I imagine he'll just call this. Oh, actually, it's a 3-bet. Sorry. Still might.
All the more reason why he
great
might end up
situation for
folding.
Maria.
Yeah, no kidding.
Could Maria get like kind of a weird little almost triple up?
Well, like if Azam flats, she's just gonna shove, and maybe she wins the
shoving
hand right there.
regardless.
Yeah, yeah.
No matter
Oh well, no,
what
that's
Azam
true.
does.
True. Yeah, yeah. She's shoving and
Yeah.
maybe picks up a little bit extra money from Azam here.
She's putting her chips in no matter what this man does.
Yeah, the lineup Kessler's playing in is like Lissandro. I think Will Gibbons was sitting at the table too, so like
Wow.
yeah, a bunch of them. Yeah,
I don't know if
I was kinda
don't know
surprised
how
to
Will
see-
Gibbons' mixed game is.
yeah. And I'm just,
Lissandro, of course, a former World Series of Poker Player of the Year. Speaking of World Series of Poker Player of the Year, wow! Tight fold there from Azam. Maria's got a double check. Doesn't want to give up any timing tells. And then she'll say, I'm all in.
All in.
And there's a quick fold from Constant. And Maria Ho picks up a nice little stack. I mean, she adds 20,000 to her stack when she only started the hand with like 55. So, I mean, she almost adds 40% without seeing a flop. That is such a win.
Yeah.
You know? People think, oh, no, she wants to call. No, she doesn't want that call. She added 40% without any risk. You know,
Yeah.
every time you're all in, even if you have your opponent dominated, he's going to have 29% equity, 30% equity, somewhere in that range. You get yourself into enough of those situations, you're going to find yourself walking out and be knocked out. A lot of really good players pride themselves on never being all in and never being at risk. Touching on the World Series of Poker Player of the Year, Lissandro, as I mentioned, he was Player of the Year once. Of course, our Player of the Year this year has been locked up. John Racner and everybody else who could have theoretically won and beat Chris Ferguson have all been knocked out of the main event. And that means that Chris Ferguson is your 2017 World Series of Poker Player of the Year. I'm just going to let that sit. Yeah, McUltra says, Tuck, there's no universe in which a bet makes sense there on the river. And the more I think about it, McUltra, I think you're spot on. I think when Reese raises under the gun and there's a dry side pot, it doesn't make a lot of sense It doesn't make a lot of sense because you just don't think King High is going to be able to beat Reese.
Right.
So
yeah.
I can get behind that.
You're not winning any money
Yeah.
by betting.
Maria's going to raise. Constant's going to 3-better again, but this time he's got the goods and she does not. I don't really buy the whole like, oh, check it down so you can knock out a player. At this point, they're so far away from the money. I don't. That's not.
Yeah,
I
you
don't,
got
I
to
don't-
get chips. Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather win the pot.
But if he's betting, he probably wants to bet earlier, like bet the flop.
Yeah,
Or you know,
definitely.
Interesting, like Surin folded ace
This
queen
one I
there,
want
which
to
may be like a standard fold, but he has a ton of chips, and
Wait, what do you have there?
I think he had ace queen offsuit. Surin. So it's
That was a
facing
raise
a
and a
raise.
3-bet.
Yeah, 3-bet. Yeah.
It's
for
an under
sure.
the gun open and a
Nobody
3-bet
telling you?
from under the gun 1. That's that's a lot of
What I
strength.
folded? Yeah.
You got a bad feeling.
Bad news for me?
No, you made a good
Good fold?
Very good feeling.
I don't want to call A with a shove or that's.
Casket Romance says Tuckman thinks that I'm not going to go to the other thing. He thinks that basically Casket Romance is saying that I think I'm special because I can call Maria by her first name. I actually call a lot of people by their first name.
I think I would call most of these guys by their first name if I was confident I could pronounce their first name, or
Yeah,
if I
so
knew what
that's
it
the
was.
thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like if I knew Constant's first name, I would definitely say his first name because his last name is really difficult. I just don't know a lot of these gentlemen. I don't know a lot of their first names. But when I was covering the one drop the first 3 days, I referred to a lot of the players by their first name, sometimes by their online handle, and sometimes by their last name.
If you're good with Greek names, then you might be better with Constant's first name, which I think is like Ionis. Yeah.
But I think, for obvious reasons, I would rather say Maria's first name than just her last name.
True that. And at least you're not calling her Mario. That's a standard typo in the poker news world.
Mario, really?
Well,
At
it's
this
like
point,
people are
still?
no, it's like a running joke though, because it happens every once in a while, and
Right.
you know,
Well, there's Mario in the big blind with 10 deuce offsuit. Again, she loves defending her big blind. This might be a fold, though.
yeah,
And it is. It kills her. Look, she just hates it. She's like, I don't want to fold my big blind. Day 2 of the 2017 World Series of Poker Europe. That's right, 10,350 euros was the buy-in. 529 players started this event. We are
I'm
under
trying to find
150
that
now.
No? That's the one thing I do want to see. I don't know.
It is 10.
It's marginal hands.
Just in time. He had it. He had trip sixes.
It's cool. WSOP Europe, you know, like when you're in Vegas for WSOP, there are a lot of Europeans, but here it's like there's a lot more different countries. You get to experience a lot more of the different styles. I think this is a neat event. I know there has been some buzz about like, oh, the bracelets, the fields are a little bit smaller, but I mean,
That's what you expect in a World Series. I mean, it's a long trip. I mean, Vegas is also different in the sense, different animal, because it is such a long event that you get some Europeans that'll come out in the middle of June, late June, and they might only come out for 2 weeks of it.
yeah,
Or 10 days of it.
yeah, you just get to pick your spot there.
If Maria knew
Is it?
what we know about Azam and how tight he is, this would just be an easy fold.
As I said, I wouldn't fold
Although
jack.
he's so tight that maybe he folds to a 3-bet.
Yeah, I
Three-bet shove.
thought that's where you were going when you said that.
I mean, that's another angle for it. He just, I mean, he's folding such big hands that maybe he folds this too. Constant picks up 7s.
Maybe she does know how tight Azam has been playing. She looked like she was checking her iPad.
Yeah,
On the
who
stream,
knows?
yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I think sometimes we make the mistake and the audience makes the mistake of assuming the players at the table know what we know. And they don't. Even if they have somebody texting them some hands, they don't see. They might not know everything because how much can be in a text?
True.
You know?
And they're not texting him every single hand that
Right.
Azam,
They don't know Azam
has folded.
Raise folded 3s on a Jack 4 board to a 4,000 chip bet.
Right.
They don't. They might not know that he folded Queen Jack because the hand didn't go anywhere.
True, yeah.
I don't really know. Like, again, if you know that Azam is tight, I don't know how you can do this. It's going to work, but I don't know how you do this because Azam has just been so tight that he's going to be nutted some of the time.
Yeah.
You're just walking into it. But, you know, give Constant some credit for understanding what's going on here and putting a ton of pressure on the other two players. And in all
I think
likelihood,
it
he's
would
going
be
to get 2
interesting
folds.
to watch after
Yeah.
what everybody had.
Can you watch it after?
Yeah, you can.
I don't think he was going to fold to Maria's raise, but
I think so at least.
he doesn't want to fold this either. Wow.
It is one of the best hands he's seen in a bit, but still, yeah.
Yeah, but he open folds Queen Jack suited and Ace Queen. He's going to go with. He's going to go with on up to a 4-bet.
I think it's one of those things where he's not really going to call, and he's not even thinking he's going to call. He just wants to spend a few minutes being frustrated by the situation that he's in. And then just like, I can't believe I got to fold this, you know, that kind of thing.
I mean, you're playing a 10K tournament. You got to strap on your big boy boots and play some poker.
All right, well, then just rip it, Azam.
Well, I don't know if I like. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, it's like, you know, you can't. You're not going to fold to the money. I don't think.
No, fair enough, yeah.
I mean, he's going to very frustrated. Lets it go, and Maria's going to glance at her opponent. She has no fold equity.
Maybe that it makes it even a better raise from Constant because he knows that she can't shove over it unless it's. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's pretty aggressive.
He's just. But what I'm saying is, he's not that deep. So
Right, so if he
he's just
loses it,
basically
double.
hoping his opponents don't have anything. Maria's dancing here, but she's folding. By the way, black chips are 100, pink chips are 500, orange are 1,000, yellows are 5K.
He like min 4-bet too, right?
Yeah, a little bit more than that because remember you can raise. It's double a 3-bet was.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So close to min.
We're feeling
Right.
superstar, you know?
I mean, I think he made it 5,500, so she went 16.
You always look like an idiot if you do that.
So
You
he
always
could have
look
actually
like an
gone
idiot
like
if you do
22. I'm sorry, he could have gone like 11. He could have gone like
Get
27.
caught.
But yeah, it's not a big 4-bet.
I think this is a move people do online a lot with really big hands. Just like,
Maria's trying to save face at the table, so everybody doesn't think that she's 3-betting light.
Looks like I believe.
Dat was een beetje moeilijk.
And you
Is dat ace queen?
Ace queen?
Ace queen ook wel in. Dat is ace queen.
Had ace queen?
Ja.
Me? Are you?
Ik had ace queen of diamonds. Ace queen of diamonds.
I can spot.
Nice 3-bet, 4-bet.
By the way, I mean, give Constant credit for understanding the situation, realizing there's a chance Maria was light there against that particular opponent.
It comes and goes, you know. I started drinking beer, so like,
That's it. That's the
it
reason.
makes sense, right?
I didn't notice that.
It was after dinner before, so like I was sleeping.
But generally
Happy
speaking,
beer.
I think that was a kamikaze
No
for
more
bet.
weight.
yeah, well, I was referencing that earlier, like cold
I'm
four
not
betting,
such a big hero.
like middle pairs.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's just like kind of like, I'm just gonna hope that neither player has anything.
That is kind of the hope, like,
Just I'm hoping. Yeah, T-Grinder says everyone hating on him for folding the ace-queen, but the cold 4-bet is super nutted usually. Don't mind this fold. I don't mind the fold either, to be honest. I mean, he was behind, by the way, guys.
yeah.
I mean,
And one of his aces was gone, which he doesn't know.
yeah,
Obviously.
he doesn't know that, but he's got ace-queen. I mean,
He said himself if he had ace king, he'd go all in, which is the same. You know, if he thinks he's flipping.
I love the dynamic that's developing. I kind of wish both players had a ton of chips because the what is developing here, this dynamic is just fantastic. Maria has now been 3-bet or 4-bet by the player on his or her left, Constant. Now 3 hands in a row. Yeah. Now one time he was getting out of line. The next, well, actually, you could argue that both two of the 3 he was getting out of line.
This is the one where she opens the button and has her beat.
Hey, before
What's
we started today, during the break, you said, hey, now we were far away, and you said, hey, doesn't seat 7 look like Phil Galfond?
Yeah.
I got a tweet from Gav the Hat. It says, seat 7 looks like a Greek Phil Galfond.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tweet.
I appreciate the support there. Kev Math kind of looked at me like I was crazy. Nah, but then he's like, maybe a little.
Like I said, I mean, they both have dark hair, and they've got, like, facial hair, so.
I feel like it's the jaw. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, it does.
I can see it. Like I said, I told you, I said I could see it. Surin, our chip leader at this particular table with 126 big blinds. He's got mounds of those yellow ones. Those are 5K each.
Happens, but I don't know. Like we'll have to see that.
We're getting a new player, too. Exciting.
Neater J says, awesome 4-bet. Constant knows that Maria is trying to isolate bully Azam. But you're hoping that Azam has got nothing, not nothing, but something he can fold. You know.
He's not opening a lot of hands. It's not,
No, that's
so,
what I mean.
yeah.
I mean, it's just, if you knew that he was folding hands like Queen Jack suited pre-flop to no bet, you'd be like, wow, so what's he opening? Anyway, Constant's got some chips now. He's starting to move and shake. On the button now with ace-5.
The sizing was so small that I felt like I could like have a hand that I could realize my equity like pretty easily, but I can't shove. I can only peel. But if he really had ace queen, then I feel better about my fold.
Did he say it?
He said he had ace.
Always.
I got ace queen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, no, I'm saying if you did, then I feel better about my fold because
Oh, okay.
I can't shove.
ace
I
queen
can't
of diamonds.
shove. I can only peel my hand, and that's one.
About 10 minutes we know the hand.
Because that'd be shocking if you also had an ace blocker.
What qualifies
That's
as
3
nothing?
aces.
What's up
What?
with
What qualifies as
screen?
nothing?
A hand that you're not going to call 30 big blind shove with.
I have 30 20.
You have to call pretty much anything. But sometimes, but it looks so strong, you know, that sometimes people just like.
You mentioned you always want to get rid of Ryan Reese off your table. I don't know about that.
Well,
Now I got this
you
beast.
should.
Promise you that.
No, I
I got some guy with 280,000
I
chips.
wasn't thinking about shoving. I was thinking about calling, actually.
There are a fair bit of
don't
people
have
you
any
don't want
insight.
to replace Ryan Reese. in
Oh, that's
that
what I'm just
seat.
saying. I mean,
That's
I
a
don't
fair
mind
point.
Ryan Reese at my table if he's got like 12 big blinds.
That's true. You
know what I
keep him
mean?
if you can keep him with 12 big blinds.
In all fairness, I don't mind anybody at my table, including Fedor.
Well, you
if they've got
definitely
12
can't
big
think.
blinds.
You definitely can't think like about it like that. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
You want to be willing to play against especially in the main event.
Once again, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Brent Harrington, David Zuckman here in the booth for you at the 2017 World Series of Poker Europe. This is the main event. 10,350 euros was the cost. Constant continuing to stay aggressive. He has either opened 3-bet or 4-bet 6 of the last 7 hands, right?
Yeah. Pretty insane. Which is
And,
what
so-
I
and,
think.
and you know what? They're noticing it too because Sadike has just moved all in, and I think Constant has to go with it now. He can't fold this because he has to understand his image and what it is. It looks like he's been a bully, and he's got too strong a hand.
It's
Can
only
we
like a
get some
13
info
big
on
shove.
screen?
Take 20 minutes.
I think left. Yeah. Close to 20 minutes. Something like that.
Just look over there.
Did he
What
call?
does the clock say?
17.
17?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I
Camera work was so quick. I was like, he didn't fold, did he?
6 of diamonds. 4 diamonds.
4 down.
4 diamonds would be a nice sweat.
Oh.
Well, a lot of chop outs now.
I like to play with
Neither
cards.
player with a club in their hands. Only a
Without
3
things
will
like
win it for
it makes
Sadike.
people call lighters.
Oh! And there it is.
Not
as
three
if
draws,
summoned
but
by
like
Dave
the-
Chuckman himself. Only a 3.
And that's a really good call by Constant. I mean, that seems pretty standard. But I think if you understand how you are perceived,
I didn't have it against Ryan.
you can make a lot
I
better
thought, like-
decisions going
But
forward.
he's
And
one of the
I think he
few
has to
people that,
realize,
because I know
man,
he
I have
plays on TV, like he's not
either
gonna,
raised,
like,
3-bet or
he's not
4-bet,
gonna, like, that's not gonna influence him.
6 of
but-
the last 7 hands. I must
But-
look like a crazy maniac. So my opponent can definitely be shoving lighter, and he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, it just didn't work out. But he made the right decision. Well, there's our new player, Chun Ho Law,
King 5 with the King of Clubs.
our token
Yeah.
American at the
I know
table.
already.
Well,
King
no,
five with the
Maria's
King of
American as
Clubs.
well. He's got 116 big
3
blinds,
on the
so
river. 3 on the
he came to play.
Three on
Yeah.
the river.
And he's got pretty close. I mean, I'm not 100% sure what Surin has right now, but him and
Surin's
Surin
got
and
300K.
Okay. So he's not too far behind.
No.
And Stewart is somewhere in the realm of like 200K, so a couple big stacks.
Do you know what he had though?
8-7.
Wow.
I don't know how you made him pull that.
I don't know why he didn't just put me in on the turn though, because I never have nutted aces, but like I never have better like these.
Effectively, yeah.
That's why I thought he had a queen for sure, because he should just put me. There's too many draws on the turn.
Yeah,
He
it's
just put
2
me-
flushes, right?
Yeah, I have pot, so he should just put me in. It doesn't. If
I
I
agree.
somehow show up with 2 pairs, then like I got lucky, but I never have a better ace. I could have like ace 8 off. Like I don't have ace 10
know
plus.
if you do. Yeah.
I don't have ace 10 plus. Period. I would peel with ace 8 off, but I would shove ace 8 suited. So
I'm pretty sure even
Stewart
if
raises
they
with
don't-
kings.
it's only, like, still bluffing.
yeah,
Law,
but
new
I
player in the
but
big blind,
about
defends with
15
king
bigs,
seven. Yeah,
like against what cut off open, right? Or yeah. Well, that was interesting. That's the only reason I took because
Kind of expect Stewart might check this one back. He's got the king of
it's much easier to get
spades.
him fold second pair than top pair, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, worked
Wow.
out for the best.
If he's
Yeah,
ahead,
for you.
he's likely way ahead.
until I see what you had that other hand.
Yeah, he's likely ahead. And there's a lot of
You'll
turn
just tell me
cards
when the
that
day's over, right? Are you
are
gonna make me
favorable
watch
for
the
you.
game too?
Yeah, there aren't really any turn cards he hates. You know what I mean?
I'm not Kevin McPhee. I'm not Kevin McPhee though. I'm gonna actually.
Maybe you just don't do it. So.
No, but I'm not Kevin McPhee. That's what I'm saying. Like,
All right, I'll tell you.
I don't have someone else doing it for me. I'm just gonna do it. That's how. So I know for sure.
That was it. My friend just went nuts with the ages.
'88 Poker, our sponsor, the World Series of Poker. And I know that a lot of 888 ambassadors doing well. Most notably, 4-time bracelet winner now, Dominic Nietzsche, who wins the one-drop high roller. And with that, nearly 3.5 million euros. Constant raises with 7-6 suited. Surin on the cutoff with 10-8 suited. Surin just to the left of the dealer. He's wearing the cream sweater. He's gonna let it go. Ooh, Law in the small blind with ace-queen. He's new to the table, so he hasn't seen what we've all seen with Constant lately. And he calls.
Did you hear what they said?
That's 5 ranks.
And Azam's going to fold.
That's
That was my.
five.
I would guess that Azam would probably fold his big blind a little bit too often.
Yeah. That seems like a spot where, I mean, you can maybe call. I don't know how much the bet was anymore, but
What was that?
it just seemed like a spot where you could consider calling.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, with
The price is getting
a raise and a call before you.
Law with nut no pair. He also has the ace of clubs on a 2-club board. Constant with a pair of sevens. And he checks it back. Turns a 5. Law's going to check once again. And there's the action on the left side. Law with 266 behind, Constant with 137 behind. Check, check once again. Really nice run out if you're Constantinidis. I wish I knew his first name.
I think it's, I saw it before. I think it's I-O-N-N-I-S.
Okay, maybe it does, that
Leonis
doesn't
or
help, huh?
something? Yeah, I was going to say it might be more difficult to pronounce.
So Law's betting here with nut no pair. I guess.
An ace of clubs blocker? Maybe?
Yeah, but I mean, I just don't know what
Yeah.
kind of. The way the action played out, it's like you're not getting a jack to fold. You're not getting a king to fold, obviously. You know, maybe you get like 8s to fold, 6s. And this is the exact kind of hand that maybe you get this hand to fold.
Yeah, if you're
4s.
checking bottom pair or what flopped bottom pair twice. He
And by the way,
probably
Law
likes
is actually, he's overbet the pot. He bet 22 into 16. He overbets the pot, so, I mean, he's putting a lot of pressure on one of those small little pairs. I mean, Law correctly deduces that Constant is not checking back a big hand twice. Or even a reasonably good hand. Well, he's thinking about it. He's cut out the 22. He makes the call.
It's a good face.
That's a good sign always.
Picks up 60,000 chips. Not too shabby.
Yeah, the pot was 60,000. He picked up about 27.
Oh yeah.
So, gentlemen, we are going to play 5
Take a look
more
at our
hands.
chip
After
count here
that,
of the
we'll
featured
do a
table.
chip raise for the 100s.
Maria on 48,600. 20 big blinds. She's certainly comfortable with that.
Haven't you seen when
Sadiq,
people make that face
30
and
big
then they, like,
blinds.
turned eights into
Azam with
bluster?
43
Or
big
like that,
blinds.
you know what I'm
Very
saying?
true.
And
Surin
you're
and
like,
Law with over 100.
No, I'm saying like that has happened to
As
me.
we
And I'm
continue
like,
on,
oh,
Brett
yeah,
Harrington
so
alongside me in the booth for the
It's
2017 World Series of
because they
Poker
expect
Europe
that
main
most
event.
likely you're gonna show.
They said they're gonna
that's
play
how you
5
wanna
more
know.
hands. Did you catch that? All right.
You would tank
Here,
the
I thought I
last
had
time
some
with
brilliant
that,
insight,
you know, but
but you're the
they're like,
professional.
oh,
No, that's
damn
good.
it. And then, nope,
Our audience might not have heard it, so it was perfect.
you're
So as you heard him say, 5 more hands, guys.
but not that time. It worked out.
Usually, generally speaking, with about 10 minutes left in the day, the tournament director will pull a card, and it's usually anywhere. They put 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s, right? And it's usually
sounds
between
right.
3 and 7, right?
Yeah. I want to
Hands
say
at
I
the
think like 5 hands. Yeah. I somewhere in that realm.
And it's just that way. It's okay. This is how many hands you have left. There's no tanking. There's nothing. It's okay. When you finish your 5 hands, you call it a day. Law raises to 5,500 with King Deuce. Stewart's gonna call this 2 black 4s. So one place it's kind of nice to see a small pair. You're getting a good price.
big
You're like,
blind,
okay,
yeah.
cool. Let me see if I can hit something. I think Stewart probably assumes that Law is fairly wide on the button. I don't think he's going to fold to 1 bet. The problem, of course, with this hand is it's just really hard to improve. There are some cards though that could give him straight draws. And he does make the call.
Alex, receive for you table 40, low order line 2550. Alex, please.
I think what's interesting about the 2 on the turn is Stewart probably doesn't hate that card, given his hand.
Oh, of course
yeah,
not. No, what are you talking about? It's a great card for him.
If you were him with ace queen suited, would you fold his hand against your fold 4?
I think after watching Stewart bluff the hand before,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you want to lead out into him as kind of marginal holding. Because now what do you do?
Suited, I wonder if you can
Yeah.
feel, what do you have, like 120K? Like, he had like 60 bigs, he has to just shove.
I mean, it's like 48. It's printing money.
What do you think about this raise?
Worst case
Well, for
scenario,
sure,
it's
Do you
yeah.
think
like
a lot of
these
people
have
would
to-
call?
yeah, you just have to build
Maybe
it.
he's thinking that Stewart might be a
What
little
do
bit
you have?
stronger than he is.
I'll tell you now, I don't care. That's why I wanted to feel my hand, but I feel better at ace 5 suited. So
That makes
I can
sense.
realize my equity like pretty
Stewart
easily.
gives it
The
up.
size is somewhat
That's
small,
kind of
but,
the reason why I don't like the
feel
lead out
better
by
about
Stewart. I mean,
folding.
this
One, I'm
particular
out of
case,
position
Law
to,
had
like,
trip
because he had
deuces.
an ace.
That's why
Yeah.
I made it
But,
small.
Okay, so you got king.
I mean,
Well, if you get raised on the turn,
then,
yeah,
right,
It's like one
I got
of
4s.
like
What do I do?
you're
Why
losing
not
to
check
so
call one
much
more
that
straight?
isn't trip deuces.
Why
Yeah,
not just check call into the street, you know?
yeah.
And then
That's why,
evaluate the
like,
river.
That's why
I
you
was
could
thinking
feel,
about
that's
feeling right, like, because I
Yeah,
think.
makes sense.
But then, like, when he started thinking about it and then folded, like, I felt like
Maybe
one of my out, yeah.
It's quite important. Then maybe you also have like
Because I have less, yeah, but like I can realize my equity pretty easily with that hand. But like, I basically have, if I call you, I just have like less than, just a little less than pot back, you know, so.
fold. Yeah, I didn't think you would call often. That's why I made it so small. It made sense.
Yeah, Azam just folded ace deuce off on the button to know.
was it?
Hit ace deuce off. He probably knew Ho had kings.
Obviously.
I mean, you could open. I think you can open ace deuce there like almost all the time, and just if somebody plays back at you, you don't continue.
Or
But
maybe you do.
but often,
Or sometimes you do, and sometimes
yeah,
you 4-bet.
yeah, I don't know that you open fold.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously it depends. And
Check.
yeah, look at Maria. No, no, no.
Kings.
I need action there.
I thought about just knuckle.
And by the way,
but
Maria just gets cheated there. I mean, you've got
Like this,
a couple
still
of big
wants
stacks,
double
late
up.
position. You got a guy with an ace on the button. Nobody raises.
The antis
The
are
small
too
blind
big.
has
You have to
garbage.
take
She
the
gets
opportunity.
nothing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Suited.
It's a good thing she's
You
making
throw it away.
hands with king 5 from the big blind and getting
I
some
can't
chips
have
there
less.
because
He's folded. He's like got me all day. He's got me all day, like literally all day. Like I don't even care, like all day. Just lord over me.
Sitting on my lap.
Right. So like that's even that just shows how bad I am and how good you are.
I think Saren's going to jump back into the action here.
Got just a couple of hands left in tonight's action, by the way. Surin raised to 5,500. Law with king, queen in the hijack. These are the two players with the most chips at this table right now. Under 150 players remain out of a starting field of 529. Law decides to call.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Fold.
Sorry about
Maria
that.
folds a little bit too quickly. Constant gonna fold as well, and we'll let the two heavyweights.
One more.
at
I
it.
think buttons on you was the last hand. Two.
Come back tomorrow, blinds will be 1,500, 3,000. 7 high flop, 8 still in the lead, plus he's got the gutter. Stern decided not to bet the flop. Two diamonds out there, 2 hearts. And Law just gets rid of it.
Good fold.
Might as well show there's only 2 more hands left.
I'm playing every hand.
Tonka is still in the tournament, I think.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
he
the
is,
tons of
hopefully we'll
chips.
get him on. We'll get him on the feature table tomorrow.
Yeah, if you guys want to see the chip counts, pokernews.com, wsop.com have all the updates.
Nash played like the first hand we came in after break, and not one since.
Yeah,
Like I forgot him was at the table.
that's why he wears the red hoodie, so you don't forget. It's still here.
Stewart raising the cutoff to 5,500. I think we have one more hand after this.
Oh, there you
But
go.
we're not quite there yet because Sadiq has ace king. Not a ton of chips. could see a 3-bet shove and not see it flop very easily. Trying to quickly count. You're a reporter. What does he got? 60,000?
It's like 67 maybe.
57? Okay.
Oh, I think like 67. Maybe.
Oh, 67.
That looks like a little bit heavier than 50.
Well, you might want to 3-bet and call off then.
67-2.
Wow, that's good. That is really good. 28 bigs.
Just like a big shove.
I have no problem with the shove.
Oh, I didn't even think he shoved. He just re-raised.
No, he just
That was a
three-bet.
fast fold.
But I would have no problem with the shove. One more hand, guys. Reminder, we are back at it tomorrow, I believe, at about 2:30 p.m. local time. If you're in London, we are 1 hour ahead of you. If you are on the East Coast of North America, we are 6 hours ahead of you. And if you're on the West Coast, you're in Las Vegas, we are 9 hours ahead of you. Set your alarms. We are here 2:30 p.m. tomorrow, day 3. I think tomorrow might be the best day.
It'll be fun.
We're
Definitely
gonna make the money. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna go from 150 to like 55 tomorrow. And then 55 will go down to like 21, you know. But tomorrow I think it's a lot of fun. Because you see small stacks, you see big stacks, people can taste the money. You see some players who have fear and then some players who don't.
That never works. Like, you shouldn't have said anything. If you didn't say anything, maybe you would have gotten a walk.
All right.
He might get a walk.
Might work this time.
I don't think he's going to get a walk.
Shouldn't, but you never know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Kind of the last hand of the night thing. People don't want to lose.
Yeah, let's just go home, bag what you already have kind of thing. Siddiqui doesn't strike me as that kind of player, though.
No, me neither, but you never know. I don't really know. But I'll tell you this. I think at the World Series of Poker main event in Vegas, bagging day 1 is almost, not quite, almost as big a bubble as the actual money bubble. People want to cash. That lasts like 30 minutes. I see guys folding like huge hands because they're just like, I don't want to get knocked out. They want to call home. They want to tell their parents. They want to tell their friends and their loved ones or their partners that they made day 2. Nobody wants to get knocked out with 20 minutes left in day 1.
Yeah.
And you can take advantage of that.
Oh, Cern raised.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Put some pressure on them.
It's funny you mentioned that. I remember one of the first mains I worked, this guy was on the phone, and he's like, I made it to the second break, and it's day 1.
Right.
People are excited about it. It's really neat to see people that excited about a poker tournament. When you do it for a living, it's nice to see people who have that fresh enthusiasm.
Yeah, we take it for granted a little bit. But I just think, there's that end of day 1. I don't know if that's here as much. But I do think in Vegas it is a big bubble, that day 1 bubble. Well, I guess if you're going to raise with 4 deuce, this is not a terrible flop for you to have.
And it missed Siddiqui about as hard as it could possibly miss him.
Yeah. I guess he's got running straight possibilities, but that's it. This should be the last bet of the day.
I know. I'm telling you.
Unless we make a
That's why
bet
when he
on
said,
it
"Just
being the
tell me
last
if
bet
I
of the
have someone
day.
watching. I was like, no, like,
There you
make
go. I like that.
person tell you.
Definitely the last bet of the day.
Well, that is it for the day, guys. Surin, our chip leader at this table, but not the chip leader throughout. Maria Ho makes it to day 2, day 3. Ryan Reese does not. Last I checked, somebody just said Tonka's on about 83,000 chips, so didn't have a good day, but he did make it through to day 3.
Yeah. I looked at his table. He had like Rainer, Kempe. I mean, obviously, as the field gets smaller, the tables are going to be stacked, but Rainer was to his direct left, so.
Yeah, you expect the World Series of Poker Europe main event to be a significantly tougher field than you would the Vegas main event, just by the sheer number of players. You're going to have more amateurs and more inexperienced players playing in Vegas than you will out here. Nonetheless, though, that is going to do it for us, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And it was a short day of coverage, but tomorrow, I promise you, we have a full day of coverage, 5 90-minute levels. We're going to make the money. We are starting 2:30 p.m. local time. I will tweet it out, I promise. You can follow me at Tuck on Sports. I want to thank my good friend, Brent Harrington. Of course, you can listen to Brent. He hosts the
Play
Poker
has
News
now
podcast.
ended for the day here in the main event of the World Series of Poker Europe. Maria Ho joins me now. 90 minutes ago, you wanted some feature table run good. Did we bring it to you?
I definitely have more chips than I brought to the feature table. It was, you know, up and down for a little bit, but I feel really good about where I ended up. So.
And is the Czech beer helping you?
It is. I actually sent out a tweet today saying how beer level in the Czech Republic for the locals is 3 levels before normal beer level, which is usually the last level. And so I'm drinking my Czech beer on my normal beer level, but I can't speak for the rest of them. They're probably drunk already.
It's super cheap though, isn't it?
It is, and it's good. It's good. It's good after a long day of playing poker. So. Yeah.
So you're going to wind down tonight. What's the strategy coming into tomorrow with the chip stack you've got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty short, but I have just a little bit of room to maneuver, and I feel like I'm good with this stack size, so I feel very comfortable about where I'm at, but once again, I need like a little more run good, but it's okay.
Okay, well, we hope to bring it to you. Thank you so much, Maria Ho. That is it from us tonight here at King's Casino and the World Series of Poker Europe. We're going to be back. The players will start at midday tomorrow, 12 o'clock Central European time, but we will be streaming from the first break. So join us around 2:30 p.m. Central European time. Good night.